My child, receive this in the stillness within your own heart. Do not rush past this moment. Do not measure it by noise or spectacle or the trembling of outer signs. I do not come to startle you into attention with thunder, nor to overwhelm you with a storm of words. I reach you like the first light of dawn, soft at first, gentle upon the horizon of your thoughts, quietly widening until you can see what was there all along. Make room for this light. Let the world slow. Let your breathing deepen. Let your shoulders lower. I want you to know that I am here and I have been here and I am speaking to you now. This word is for you, not to lift you above others, not to make you imagine yourself singled out in pride, but to meet you precisely where you are standing, the place no one else can fully see, the private room of your questions and your longings, the hallway where your footsteps echo when no one answers the door you keep knocking on. I am answering you. I am not general when I speak to you. I am near. I am not vague in my attention. I am attentive to the details you think are too small to name. I have gathered every syllable you whispered and every tear that never quite fell. I have not missed the prayer you prayed distractedly while you were washing dishes, nor the one you offered in the pause between waking and sleep, nor the one you thought unworthy because you prayed it so many times you feared I had grown tired of hearing it. I do not grow tired. Nothing you have lifted toward me was wasted. Not one word has fallen to the ground. My child, I have never left you. I have been the quiet presence that did not leave your side, even on the day you stopped feeling anything at all. I was near when you could not form words and all you had was a sigh. I heard the meaning in the sigh. I was near when you spoke in circles, when you felt foolish for repeating yourself, when you confessed the same weakness and called it too messy to say again. I am not ashamed of you. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. Hear me. I am not counting your failures. I am counting your steps toward me. I am not shaming your slowness. I am shepherding your direction. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. You have looked for a sign that would force your certainty, a dramatic display that would silence every doubt in an instant. But my counsel often arrives like a restraint, a pause you cannot explain, a peace that does not match your circumstances. Do you recognize it? That quiet nudge to stop before you press send, that gentle hesitancy that asks you to wait one more moment before you act, that unearned calm that settles over you, even while nothing outside has changed. These are not random. These are the ways I place my hand upon your shoulder and keep you in the light. I am not far. I am not silent. I am not indifferent. I am speaking to you in the tongue your heart can understand. As it is written, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. Let this be personal to you, not a verse floating in the distance, not a plaque on a wall, but a living promise that I am fulfilling even now. My eye upon you. Do you hear the intimacy in this? I am watching you not as a judge, waiting to catch a misstep, but as a father keeping his gaze on the beloved child, learning to walk. I see the terrain ahead of you and the small stones that could turn your ankle. I see the turn you do not notice yet and the curve where the shadows thicken. I see what draws your attention and what drains your strength. And I say to you, I will instruct you. I will teach you. I will counsel you. You will not travel this path alone. Therefore, be still. Pause in the place where you are inclined to hurry. Listen, not with the ears that strain for thunder, but with the heart that waits for dawn. Truths that can only be discerned when your soul is no longer swept away by the noise of the world will rise within you when you allow yourself to remain, to breathe, to be held. The light I give is gentle, but it is not weak. It is strong enough to reveal the next stone on the path, the next door that is for you to walk through, the next word that must be spoken or withheld. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. A lamp to your feet, not a floodlight for a lifetime. What I give you now is enough for now. You have called your prayer too late, too trivial, too tangled to sort. I call it holy because it turns your face toward me. You say, I prayed that already, as if repetition were a failure. I say, you returned, and every return pulls you more fully into the life I am giving. You say, it is messy, and I remind you that I formed you from dust and breathed into you. I know the texture of your frame, and I am not offended by it. Come away from the voice that demands a performance before you are permitted to be heard. I am listening now. I have been listening. If today you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. Soften not in weakness, but in trust. As it is written, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. My beloved, this is where you begin to recognize my answer. In quietness, in a deeply settled knowing that does not ask you to explain yourself to those who cannot hear what I am saying to you. You do not need to construct a grand plan today. You do not need to solve every problem in one breath. I will show you the next faithful step when you allow the waters to still. Remain long enough to listen more clearly. Let the first light do its work in you. Open your hands. Say simply, speak, for your servant is listening. And listen without bargaining, without fear. I am already guiding you. My peace will mark the way. My eye is upon you, and here in this very stillness, I am answering the prayer you thought went unheard. My child, let this promise move from a verse you admire to a word you rely upon. As it is written, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. Hear me in the singular, not the abstract. I will. Not a theory, not a suggestion offered from a distance, but a present tense commitment rooted in love. I will instruct you in the way you should go, not merely in how to feel better about where you are. I will counsel you with my eye upon you, not as a stranger delivering instructions and then leaving, but as a father walking with you, attending to your steps, adjusting your pace, and covering you when the wind rises. Do you see the difference? This is not information to collect. This is relationship to enter. I am not handing you a map and closing the door. I am keeping my gaze on you and speaking as we go. When I instruct, I do not speak in riddles meant to confuse you, nor in grand abstractions that leave you with no path to take. I speak as one who knows the path beneath your feet and the bend you cannot see. My instruction comes like a lamp to your feet, close, sufficient, personal. It arrives as a clarity within stillness, a yes or a no, a stop or a proceed, an urge to pick up what you've laid down or to lay down what you have carried too long. It looks like this: call and make peace, not later, but today. Stop feeding the habit that is making you small. Close the tab, turn off the stream that is draining your soul. Start the small practice I have whispered to you for weeks. 15 minutes of quiet with me at dawn. A single act of generosity that breaks your fear of lack. A boundary you have been afraid to set, but no, must be set. Revisit what I asked you to steward. Pick up the unfinished work, the draft you abandoned out of discouragement, the commitment you made to serve that you let slip during the busyness. Delete the message you wrote in frustration. Write the apology you have avoided. Schedule the appointment that acknowledges your need. Stay home when your heart seeks escape. Go out when fear is pretending to be wisdom. Do you recognize it? My instruction is concrete because love is practical. My eye upon you means I am reading more than your circumstances. I am reading the story your choices are writing. I see the unseen paragraph that follows a decision you call small, the doors that open or close because of a yes or a no today. I see the motives braided within your desires, the part that seeks my will and the part that reaches for approval, for relief, for applause. I see where flattery becomes a net and where urgency becomes a trap. I see the smooth road that darkens after a few turns, lined with promises that shine like mirrors yet reveal nothing. I see the quiet compromise that seems harmless but turns your heart by degrees, like water dripping upon stone until the shape is altered without your notice. And because I see, I counsel, not to control you, but to keep you alive to who you are in me, not to shame you, but to spare you from unnecessary sorrow. As it is written, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" Psalm 27:1. Light reveals what darkness tried to hide, and my counsel positions you in that light. You have asked for the entire path, for certainty that spans months and years, for guarantees written in the sky. I understand the ache behind that ask, but I am forming in you something more enduring than the comfort of control. I am forming trust. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. One faithful step in the right direction with me is more fruitful than 1,000 hurried strides driven by anxiety. You want a map? I give you a lamp. You want to skip to the ending? I am inviting you into a story that requires your presence in the present. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Walk by the lamp and more will be lit. Obey the one instruction and the next will appear. Faithfulness in the small is the doorway to clarity in the larger. As it is written, one who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much. Luke 16:10. Do not misinterpret waiting as my absence or indifference. Waiting when I call you to it is not inaction, it is cultivation. I am aligning timing you cannot calculate, moving pieces, softening hearts, closing counterfeit opportunities so that true ones are not swallowed by distractions. I am strengthening your roots so that what I give you will not wither under the first heat of attention or pressure. Consider the tree by the stream. Its unseen life is its security. Its hidden root determines its visible fruit. So it is with you. I am doing foundational work, reordering affections, detaching you from what cannot carry you, loosening the fear that compels you to grasp. There are forms of mercy that do not appear gentle on the surface. This waiting is one of them. As it is written, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. I am not toying with your hope. I am protecting it. But hear me plainly, I am not asking you to wait on everything. I am asking you to obey one instruction now. Pause. Listen. Name the one step you already know to take. It may be as small as turning off the noise and sitting with me for 10 quiet minutes. It may be as concrete as sending the message you have edited 20 times. It may be as vulnerable as saying, I need help, or as brave as saying, no more to what drains you. Ask me and then stop at the first clear yes. Do not negotiate with it. Take the step that love requires. If today you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. As it is written, today if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Softness here is not weakness, it is trust. Trust opens doors that force will only bruise. You say, what if I am wrong? My child, my eye is upon you. I am able to correct a moving heart far more gently than a resistant one. If your intention is to honor me, even a misstep becomes a lesson that bends you closer to my way. I do not leave you to guess alone in a maze. I place signals along the path. Peace that holds, unease that cautions, doors that shut with a protective finality, words from my scripture that rise like a railing beneath your hand. As it is written, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Proverbs 3:6. Acknowledge me now, not in a future day when you imagine yourself stronger, but in this hour when your dependence is your strength. So release your demand for a full itinerary. Let go of the pressure to prove you can finish before you begin. This is relationship, not performance. Counsel, not a contract to be graded. I am with you in the first step, in the pause before it, in the breath you take to gather courage. Open your hands. Say, yes, Lord, this one thing, and do it. Then remain close. Pay attention to how the next light appears, not by accident, but by promise. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. This is my word to you, not far away, but here. Walk with me in the light you have, and watch the path become what it could never be under your own certainty alone. My child, hear me with the same quiet you just entered, for I am continuing the conversation I began within you. The signals you have been sensing are not random. They are my restraint, my hand upon your shoulder when your steps are gathering speed without wisdom, my gentle pressure that says, not this way, before the cliff comes into view. Do you recognize them? An unease without clear explanation, a pause that meets you right before you press send, the loss of peace that settles in like a fog when a plan looks perfect on paper, restless sleep that circles one concern even when you tell yourself it doesn't matter, a soft no in your spirit that does not argue, it simply remains. You have been tempted to dismiss these stirrings as mood, as nerves, as oversensitivity. Yet these are the ways I guard you when the path narrows and the light is meant to slow you, not to speed you. I do not frighten you to steer you. I steady you to spare you. This is not anxiety, but discernment. Not paranoia, but protection. Not weakness, but mercy near enough to interrupt you. When the pause repeats, when the same caution returns in quieter hours, when you change environments yet the unrest persists, ask yourself, what if this is my voice saving you from a door that is about to close on your hand? As it is written, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. Following often begins with stopping. A sheep does not outrun the shepherd and hope to understand the staff. It slows to feel the nudge and lives because of restraint. Stillness is the environment where these truths become audible. When your soul is swept along by noise, by urgency, by the performance you think will earn you worth, the subtlety of my counsel is drowned in the clatter of your proving. You rush to outrun the ache. You stack tasks to avoid the question. You fill your ears so you do not have to notice the loss of peace. Yet in the quiet, the signals take shape. What felt like nameless dread clarifies into a boundary I am asking you to honor. What felt like guilt loosens into a conviction that frees you. What felt like delay reveals itself as protection. Pause. Listen. Remain long enough to listen more clearly. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction, and direction is discovered in the unhurried space where you can finally hear what your spirit has been whispering. Consider how I guard those I love. Does a mother's hand across a child's chest as the car stops suddenly mean anger? No, it is reflexive mercy. Does a railing along a mountain path insult the hiker? No, it acknowledges the height and preserves the life. So when your peace leaves, when your courage feels strained, when your conversation turns sharp and something within you grieves the tone, even before the words land, do not call it random. Do you see? I am teaching you to read the weather of your own heart so you do not sail into a storm that has already signaled its coming. As it is written, the Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. My light does not accuse. it reveals. And because light is truthful by nature, it reveals in order to heal. Light comforts and light corrects. The lamp I give rests near your feet. It will not flatter you with a false noon when it is still dawn, but it will keep you from stepping into a pit while you reach for the horizon. When I bring something into light, an unhealthy pattern, a compulsion that feels like wisdom, a relationship that drains the very honor you are trying to live with, I am not exposing you to shame you, I am exposing what would wound you. Darkness is the environment where what remains unaddressed is allowed to grow quietly, relentlessly, shaping you without your notice. I turn on the lamp early, while the roots are small and the untangling is kind. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. Do not demand a floodlight and then ignore the lamp. Take the step the lamp reveals. That is how the path becomes safe beneath you. You ask, but how do I know the difference between your restraint and my fear? Look at the fruit. My restraint arrives with clarity, even when it is firm. It says, wait here, and provides a peace within the waiting. Fear shouts, scatters, accuses, and offers no resting place. My restraint can be revisited in stillness, and it remains. Panic shifts with the headlines and the opinions of strangers. My restraint aligns with my word, calls you to integrity, to truth, to humility, to patience, while fear tempts you to control, to hide, to manipulate. Test it against the light. Does this nudge ask you to honor the image of God in you and in others? Does it keep you in the narrow way of life? As it is written, whether you turn to the right or to the left, you will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Isaiah 30:21. Hear the posture behind you, near you, steadying you. There are times when you have overridden these quiet signals, and you have tasted the consequence. Conversations you wish you could retrieve, a purchase that tightened chains you were trying to escape, a commitment made out of flattery that cost you peace for weeks. I am not bringing this to condemn you. I am teaching you how mercy feels at the beginning, before the lesson becomes harder. There are forms of mercy that do not appear gentle on the surface, and restraint is one of them. I intervene early so that you are not carried too far away. If the door resists you with an unaccountable heaviness, if the schedule blossoms with interruptions every time you attempt the same unwise thing, if the resources evaporate around a plan that glorifies your name more than mine, pay attention. I am loving you in a way that spares you from what you cannot see. So practice this with me now. When you sense the pause, do not negotiate it away. When peace leaves, stop and ask, where did I step past the lamp? When sleep will not settle because a conversation needs truth, say the one sentence that brings you back into light. When a gentle no remains in your spirit, honor it even when others push for yes. You do not need to defend your obedience to those who cannot hear what I am saying to you. Remember, I am counseling you with my eye upon you. My view includes dangers not visible from where you stand. Trust the restraint. It is a gift. My beloved, receive this. I am not trying to make you cautious without courage. I am forming within you a courage that moves only in truth. Stillness is not passivity. It is alignment. Discernment is not suspicion. It is love translated into timing. And my light is not harsh. It is the tenderness that exposes the splinter so the wound can close around wholeness, not infection. Walk with the lamp I give. Attend to the pauses. Welcome the gentle no that protects the larger yes of your calling. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. Stay close to this light and you will not stumble. Stay close to this light and you will recognize my restraint for what it is, the embrace that keeps you alive to me. My child, I am placing my hand upon this one thing now, because I love you and I would not have you miss what I am giving. Do not mistake delay for safety. Delay is not a neutral place to rest. It is a slow current that carries you while convincing you that you are standing still. It wraps itself in softness. It whispers, "Later will do, not now." And because it does not shout, you do not fear it. But hear me, this softness is not your friend when I have spoken. I am not condemning you. I am awakening you. I am not tallying your hesitations as failure. I am protecting what is alive in you from hardening into regret. Delay wears costumes so ordinary, you barely notice them. A quick scroll that turns into an hour, a task you wedge between your heart and the one conversation that would set you free. A tidy rationale about better timing when what is true is that you do not want to feel small, vulnerable, or dependent. There is a busyness that flatters the ego and starves the spirit. There is a constant motion that produces no fruit. List-making, link-clicking, thought-churning, the refreshing of feeds, the rearranging of piles, so much movement that you feel productive while your obedience sits untouched in the corner, watching you go in circles. Do you see it? The cost is subtle at first, a dimming of joy, a fraying of attention, a resentment that grows at the very things you once called gifts. Your discernment dulls with every postponed yes. What begins as, "I just need a minute," becomes, "I'll start tomorrow," and then, "someday," until the door that stood open begins to swing on its hinge and you do not hear the sound. Soft postponement closes doors quietly. I do not say this to frighten you. I say it so that you may live in the day I have given you. As it is written, "Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts." Hebrews 3:15. Today is my mercy to you, an altar placed in the middle of your ordinary hours where courage can be offered in small, faithful portions. Tomorrow promises nothing, and delay, like water dripping upon stone, will shape your heart without announcement, smoothing its edges until conviction cannot find a place to rest. You imagine that postponement leaves everything as it is, but waiting without obedience is not stillness. It is shaping. The drip becomes a groove. The groove becomes a channel. The channel decides the river's course. There is a difference between my restraint and your delay. My restraint arrives with a settled peace inside the pause, a sense of alignment though you are not moving fast. Delay arrives with relief that fades quickly and leaves you more anxious beneath the surface, requiring one more distraction, one more justification, one more errand to outrun the simple act of obedience. My restraint preserves your energy for the appointed time. Delay drains your strength by scattering your hours into fragments you cannot reassemble. My restraint keeps you. Delay keeps you away. Consider how quietly a house shifts when termites work within its beams. No crisis announces itself until the weight of an ordinary day exposes a hollow that time prepared in secret. So it is with small compromises left unattended. The text you do not send because humility is costly. The apology you postpone because you want the other to move first. The boundary you soften because you long to be liked. The prayer you delay because the chair looks empty and you fear feeling alone. None of these are scandalous. All of them are shaping you. Darkness is the environment where what remains unaddressed is allowed to grow. I am turning on the light not to shame you, but to rescue you from a quiet ruin. My beloved, listen to the tenderness behind this urgency. I am not ashamed of you. I know your frame. I know how weariness blurs your intention, how the day's noise invades even your best resolve. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. One step today, taken in the light I have given, is worth more than 100 plans drafted beneath the lullaby of later. As it is written, do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring. Proverbs 27:1. And again, behold, now is the favorable time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. 2 Corinthians 6:2. You ask, but what am I losing, truly, when I delay? Doors you cannot hear closing. The softness in another's heart that is ready for reconciliation now, but will be harder next week. The clarity that is brightest upon waking and dims beneath a day's noise. The provision aligned to obedience that only appears when yes is spoken. The courage that comes in today's portion and cannot be stored for tomorrow like bread. Oil for your lamp is gathered in these small todays. As it is written, watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. Matthew 25:13. Do you remember? It was not rebellion that left some outside. It was ordinary delay, everyday assumptions that the door would remain open indefinitely. They did not refuse the wedding. They merely did not prepare in time. So let me speak very plainly to your heart. Locate the later that has been governing you and name it in my presence. Say, this conversation, Lord, this habit, this offering, this boundary, this prayer. Bring it into today. Do not negotiate with the lamp. Honor the light that is already upon your feet. Close the tab that steals your hour. Put the phone down where your hands must leave the room to reach it. Write one honest sentence and send it. Move the appointment from the vague future to the calendar you can see. Kneel, even if for 3 minutes, and say the sentence you have avoided. I need you. I am wrong. I forgive. Help me. These are not small. They are seeds of a harvest delay would gladly prevent. And if you feel the ache of missed moments, the sting of doors you suspect have already closed, bring that ache to me without hiding. I am a redeemer. I make new ways where you assumed only loss remained. But know this for your freedom. Redemption does not license more delay. It awakens you to the preciousness of today. As it is written, awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Ephesians 5:14. I am shining now, not to blind, but to guide. Return to the day I have given you. Lift your eyes from the swirl, lift your hands from the stall, and take the step my love requires. Watchfulness is not fear, it is friendship with my timing. Watch, therefore, obey today, and you will find that what delay threatened to close, my mercy will open in a way you could not have achieved by hurry or by will alone. My child, now watch what I do. When I close a path, it is not punishment, it is rescue. When I allow a plan to collapse, when I permit interruptions that rearrange your days, when a door that seemed perfect shuts with a firm and final click, do not rush to conclude that I have abandoned you. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. This is intervention. This is the restraining embrace that spares you from a sorrow you cannot see yet. I am not withholding life from you. I am preserving life within you. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. There are forms of mercy that do not appear gentle on the surface. A roadblock rarely looks like a gift when you meet it head-on. Yet I am the Father who places a hand across the chest when the car stops suddenly. I am the railing along the narrow path that refuses to flatter you into false safety. I am the shepherd who stands in the gate, not to pen you in, but to keep the wolves from your soul. When I hedge up your way with thorns, when the shortcut dissolves, when the crowd's applause grows quiet, and you find yourself in a smaller, truer room, hear me. I am guiding you with my eye upon you. I see where that open field turns into a pit. I see the flattery that becomes a net, the opportunity that becomes a chain, the momentum that becomes a drift. I intervene early so that you are not carried too far away. Consider Jonah, my servant, who rose to flee from the word I gave. As it is written, a storm arose, not to destroy him, but to prevent him from going further down the wrong path. The wind did not come as vengeance. It came as rescue. The sea was not his grave. It became his womb of return. In the belly of the fish, he discovered that what felt like confinement was actually preservation. What felt like a dead end was the first turn back into calling. And the word of the Lord came to him a second time. Do you see? I did not erase his story. I redeemed his direction. I did not punish to end him. I disciplined to restore him. My child, when a storm gathers against your escape, when the current resists your flight, do not say, "Everything is against me." Ask instead, "Is this your boundary, Lord?" And listen for the peace that rises with surrender. You have known moments like this. The interview you were certain would seal your future, and yet it dissolved. The friendship that turned unexpectedly, revealing motives you could not have discerned without time. The move that seemed strategic until the very ground shifted. The project that refused to cohere despite your skill. The desire that consumed your hours and then mercifully broke. You felt the sting. You felt the confusion. You wondered if I had turned away. My beloved, I was near, closer than breath, closer than your own reasoning. I was placing a boundary where your discernment had been dulled by hurry, by hope that outpaced wisdom, by the applause of those who do not carry your calling. I know where you are headed when you cannot see past the next curve. I know how a single compromise becomes a gate for many. I know the doors that look like advancement but are hollow trees, beautiful to the eye yet unable to bear your weight. And because I know, I shut them. There is a way to read resistance that will keep your heart soft. Ask not, "Why is everything against me?" but, "Where is your lamp and what does it reveal?" Ask, "Is this pressure the labor of a birth I should endure, or a boundary that calls me to stop?" I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. When the no is mine, there is a peace inside the halt, a rightness within the loss, a subtle untying you can feel even as tears fall. Surrender becomes a resting place. When the no is merely fear or pride, agitation remains, accusations multiply, blame finds a dozen targets but never your own heart, and you scramble to reopen what I had closed. Test it in stillness. Lay your plan in the light of my word. If letting go returns you to integrity, if it restores your capacity to love without performing, if it releases you from flattery's net and keeps you truthful, you have likely found my boundary. Do not despise the day I remove what you thought you could not live without. I am not subtracting your life. I am pruning it. Pruning is not desertion. It is design for fruitfulness. There are branches that bloom with leaves and no fruit, clusters of activity that impress for a season and then consume the sap needed for what truly lasts. I cut not to shame the tree, but to honor the harvest. As it is written, every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. John 15:2. Receive this not as a threat, but as an assurance of my investment in you. I do not cut what I plan to abandon. I cultivate what I intend to flourish. Let me speak to the place where you ache over what ended. Bring me the engagement that broke, the role you did not receive, the city you left, the friendship that dissolved, the platform that shrank. I know the story beneath each. I know which doors would have accelerated your drift, which rooms would have required you to trade truth for access, which admirers would have become unspoken masters. I know how your body would have carried stress not assigned to you, how your nights would have thinned into worry, how your joy would have dulled beneath the constant need to be seen. I closed the path to keep you whole. I closed the path to keep you mine. And if the closed path came as confrontation, if someone spoke truth you did not want to hear, if consequences rose from choices you hoped would remain hidden, hear me. Even this is mercy. Light is truthful by nature. It reveals in order to heal. I expose what the darkness was growing, not to shame you, but to stop the spread, to cleanse the wound, to restore your freedom. A surgeon's cut is not the same as an enemy's wound. My discipline is not a blow meant to break you. It is a precise incision that removes what would destroy you if ignored. As it is written, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Hebrews 12:11. So how shall you respond when a path closes? Pause. Ask me plainly, is this your boundary? Yield the plan without bargaining. Do not grasp at what flees. Bless what leaves. Release the name you wanted people to say about you. Return to the lamp at your feet. Choose the small obedience that remains in front of you. The phone call to make peace, the habit to surrender, the quiet to enter, the generous act that breaks fear. Watch what I do next. When you give me your open hands, I place in them what fits your true calling. When you step away from the counterfeit, I lead you to the door that opens without flattery and remains open without self-betrayal. My beloved, I want you to live unruled by fear, unbound by the need to prove, unshaken when plans shift, because you are anchored in my love and guided by my boundaries. Receive my closed doors as signs that you are seen. Receive my interruptions as proof that you are not wandering alone. Receive my discipline as the language of my delight. As it is written, for the Lord disciplines those he loves, as a father the son in whom he delights. Proverbs 3:12. I delight in you. I am guiding you. And as you trust my rescue, you will find that what seemed like loss was the very path by which I kept you close and prepared you for the good you could not have entered by any other way. Watch what I do. My child, do you see what I am protecting you from? Pause with me and let the question rest upon the places you would rather move past. Do you recognize the small growths that take root in the dark while you are busy explaining them away? Do you see the patterns that promise comfort but tax your freedom? The feelings that present as friends but secretly take the lead? I am not asking to accuse you. I am asking to awaken you. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. I draw the curtain back because I love you, because I have heard every word you whispered, and because I have already begun to answer with light. There are quiet seedlings that become forests when left in shade. Bitterness begins as a bruise you refuse to name. It hardens into a lens through which every face is colored, every memory re-edited to confirm your pain. Secret compromise starts like a small exception you promise yourself is temporary. It becomes a path you can walk in the dark with your eyes closed, a second life that drains your first. Emotional dependence presents like loyalty and warmth. Over time, it demands that your peace be rented from another's approval so that their silence becomes your famine. Self-sabotage arrives wearing modesty. Who am I really? But it lives to keep you from the rooms where your obedience would bear fruit. People-pleasing calls itself kindness. It demands that your yes be sold cheaply so that no one ever has to know what you truly desire. Numbing habits disguise themselves as recovery. They do not comfort you. They quiet your questions until your life is small enough not to disturb your fears. Do you see? Darkness is the environment where what remains unaddressed is allowed to grow. I bring light not to embarrass you, but to stop the spread. Light is truthful by nature. It reveals in order to heal. When I name a pattern, I am not turning your face toward shame. I am turning your face toward freedom. As it is written, you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. John 8:32. Freedom does not come by hiding better. It comes by letting me see with you what you have been holding alone. When you hide a thing, it begins, slowly and quietly, to guide you. The secret becomes the shepherd you never intended to follow. The lie writes your schedule. The unspoken resentment picks your words. The fear chooses your route home. But when you bring a thing into my presence, it loosens as if a hand had unclenched. What led you begins to follow you out into light, and what once owned your decisions begins to submit to wisdom. How does darkness shape identity? Not with announcements, but with subtle rearrangements. You stop calling yourself by the name I have given, beloved, chosen, mine, and begin to answer to other masters, useful, impressive, indispensable, admired, unbothered. You trade sonship for performance. You let the past narrate your present. You agree, line by line, to a story in which you are always on the edge of being found out, always explaining yourself, always buying peace at the cost of your voice. Do you recognize it? The self you protect in hiding is not the self I formed. It is a smaller figure built to fit inside other people's expectations and your own dread of loss. Bring that figure into light. Let the shadow self meet my gaze and disappear. As it is written, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. My light is not an interrogation lamp. It is the first glow of dawn that shows you the path you were afraid to hope for. I do not come to humiliate. I come to heal. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. If I place my finger upon a conversation you have avoided, it is because reconciliation is part of your liberty. If I call you to turn off what numbs you, it is because pleasure and rest are waiting in places that do not demand your worship in exchange. If I press you to release the compliment you keep fishing for, it is because I want to return your appetite to the food that satisfies. As it is written, everything exposed by the light becomes visible, and everything that is illuminated becomes a light. Ephesians 5:13. Exposure is not an end. It is a beginning, a transformation of what once hid you into a testimony that will guide others. Consider the subtle signs that my light is already at work. You feel a grief after laughter that depended upon someone else's humiliation. You sense a hollowness after attention you chased. You taste relief at the thought of telling the truth, even though it will not make you look strong. There is a weariness in sustaining the image, and there is a deep, clean breath that meets you at the threshold of honesty. Do you see? That breath is my spirit inviting you to step through. My restraint has kept you from marrying these shadows. My light is inviting you to divorce them. Name them with me now, without ornament. Bitterness, secret compromise, emotional dependence, self-sabotage, people-pleasing, numbing habits. Not to build a case against you, but to break the case that has kept you behind glass. When you say their names in my presence, you move them from the throne to the witness stand. They answer to truth. As it is written, if we walk in the light, as he is in the light, we have fellowship, and the blood of Jesus cleanses us from all sin. 1 John 1:7. Cleansing follows exposure because light draws you into fellowship, first with me, then with those who will help you live honestly again. You ask, what will happen to me if I let you see everything? My child, you have never been unseen by me. I know your frame. I know the root of every coping habit and the first bruise that taught you to guard yourself this way. I am not surprised, and I am not leaving. The confession you fear will not exile you. It will unshackle you. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. One step from concealment toward truth is a revolution in your soul. One sentence, here is where I hide. Here is where I'm afraid. Here is where I sinned. Here is where I long to be healed. Opens a door you cannot open from the inside. And I am already standing on the other side, hand upon the latch, waiting. Hear this as protection, not as pressure. What you hide begins to define you. What you hand to me begins to release you. What grows in darkness will draft your future without your consent. What stands in light becomes subject to my shaping. I am not trying to make you small. I am returning you to yourself. I am not asking you to explain your patterns in perfect language. I am asking you to let light touch them. Pause. Breathe. Listen. Bring the one you thought you must manage alone. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. The lamp does not shame your darkness. It guides your next step out of it. So, my beloved, do you see what I am protecting you from? Not only an event or a decision, but a slow remaking of you into someone unfree. I am cutting off the supply lines to your bondage. I am preserving the tenderness of your heart. I am guarding your calling from the small trades that would bankrupt it. Trust my exposure, receive my light. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live, awake, unhidden, and whole, walking in the liberty that comes when nothing within you needs the dark to survive. My child, now let us make this personal in the way that becomes life. What I have shown you in light is not meant to hover as theory around your head. It is meant to shape the next movement of your feet. You have asked for direction, and I have heard you. I am not placing upon you a lifetime to accomplish in a single day. I am giving you one step that belongs to today. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. Small obedience taken now is the lever that moves the future I am preparing. As it is written, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. Hear this as a promise, not a riddle. I am not far. My counsel begins with the smallest yes you can give me now. The next step is smaller than you think. You imagine overhaul, an entire schedule rewritten, a dozen vows at once, a transformation staged for an audience. That is not what I am asking. The path I place before you is a lamp to your feet path, not a stadium light on the horizon. One conversation, one boundary, one apology, one relinquished habit, one returned practice. Prayer, my word, rest. These are not fragments, they are hinges. Doors swing upon small hinges. Let me make it plain so that you can hear where my finger rests. One conversation to have. The call you have delayed because humility costs you pride, or because you fear being misunderstood. Say one sentence that is true. You do not need to draft a speech. You need to bring light. I was wrong. I spoke in anger. I want peace. Can we begin again? Truth is short, and it carries my presence. One boundary to set. The line you draw because your soul requires space to obey me. No to the late-night exchange that drags you back into patterns. No to the project that forces you to lie by omission. No to the availability that erases your prayer. A boundary is not a wall against love. It is a gate that protects it. One apology to make. Not a performance, not a justification, not a shared blame disguised as contrition. Only the clean naming of the harm you caused and the honoring of the person you hurt. This opens rooms where reconciliation can breathe. One habit to stop. Delete the app that harvests your hours. Close the page that feeds your hunger while starving your soul. Choose sleep where scrolling has become anesthesia. The first day without it will feel loud. On the other side of that noise, you will hear me more clearly. One practice to return to. Open my word where you last left it and read a short psalm aloud. Set your chair where the morning can find you and remain for 5 quiet minutes before you touch a screen. Walk in silence once around your block and pray the names of those you love. Restore a weekly rest where your striving lays down its tools and your heart remembers it is not God. Do not despise the smallness. Seeds look like insignificance until the season turns. You ask, how do I know it is you leading me? How do I test the instruction I sense? I have not left you without ways to discern. First, look for the peace that remains after the first wave of fear has broken. Often my guidance presses against your pride or your habit, and fear rises like a startled bird. Wait a moment, breathe. If beneath the initial tremor, a settled rightness holds, an alignment you can feel in your chest, receive it. As it is written, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. My peace is not the absence of cost, it is the presence of order. Second, weigh it in the light of my word. I will not counsel you contrary to what I have spoken. The step I give will honor truth, love, and integrity. It will not ask you to conceal sin, to exploit another, to cut corners, to answer evil with evil. My wisdom is pure, peaceable, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Hold your sensed instruction up to this lamp. Does it illuminate or obscure? Does it call you toward love or into self-justifying maneuvers? Third, attend to the repetition of my gentle prompting. I do not need to shout to be clear. If the same nudge returns in quiet moments, in the shower, on the commute, as you wake, if my restraint reappears at the threshold of the same choice, if a verse keeps meeting you from different directions, listen. Quiet consistency is one of the signatures of my counsel. The noise of condemnation fluctuates and accuses. My spirit returns with patient firmness, an invitation that does not insult you but will not flatter your avoidance. Also take note of the voice that urges frenzy, when a thought demands action that violates love, when it shames you into speed, when it threatens your identity if you do not comply in a panic. Do not follow it. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. My urgency is tender and clear, and it agrees with truth. My timing may be today, but it is never the lash of terror. There is a difference between obedience now and panic now. Obedience now is a simple step aligned with light. Panic now is a scramble to manage outcomes you were never asked to control. Hear the contrast I am placing before you. Not perfection, but surrender. Not frenzy, but faithfulness. Not controlling outcomes, but following counsel with my eye upon you. Perfection says, fix everything at once or you have failed. Surrender says, yield the one place I am speaking and let me unfold the rest. Frenzy says, run in all directions so that no one can say you did not try. Faithfulness says, walk in the direction of light, one measured step. Control says, engineer the response, ensure the approval, predict the results. Trust says, say the true thing, take the clean step, and watch what I do. What will happen as you obey one instruction? You will notice the ground firm beneath your feet. The swirl will lessen. The ache of indecision will give way to the quiet dignity of movement. Doors that do not belong to you will stop seducing you. Doors that bear your name will meet you along the path. Courage will grow not by grand speeches, but by the simple repetition of small, true steps. As it is written, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Proverbs 3:6. Straight does not always mean easy. It means cleared of the tangles that delay and deceive. Let me be even more concrete. If the instruction is one conversation, set a time before the day ends. 10 minutes is plenty. Ask for forgiveness without defending yourself. Listen without preparing your next line. If it is one boundary, write it in a sentence you can say without explaining, I will not stay past 9. I no longer discuss them in this way. I am not available for that project. If it is one apology, name your action and its impact plainly. I spoke with contempt, and it hurt you. I am sorry, and do not add, but. If it is one habit to stop, remove the access, delete, unsubscribe, unfollow, throw away. Do not keep the key in your pocket and call it trust. If it is one practice to return to, choose a doable rhythm. 5 minutes of scripture and silence in the morning, a weekly hour without your phone, a Sabbath evening candle that reminds your body you are not a machine. Anchor them in your calendar as you would a meeting with someone you honor, because you are honoring the life I am guarding in you. And if you still feel uncertain, bring a trusted brother or sister who walks in the light into the discernment. Share the one step you sense, not to poll your fears, but to confirm the peace. I often confirm my counsel through the humble agreement of those who love me and love you. But even in this, do not outsource your obedience. I am teaching you my voice. My child, you will learn by walking with me, not by collecting guarantees in advance. Peter learned to walk upon the water not by thinking it through, but by stepping where my word held him. As it is written, come. Matthew 14:29. One step, eyes on me. Do not despise beginning again. Do not mourn that the step feels small. I began the world with words, and I move mountains with mustard seeds. The harvest I intend often begins under the soil, where no one is applauding. Your testimony will not start on a stage. It will start at your kitchen table, at your desk, at the threshold of the room you have avoided. Move toward the light there. Speak the truth there. Close the door that drains you there. Open the scripture there. Rest, truly rest there. I am with you in the smallness. My eye is upon you in the pause between your breath and your yes. You are not performing for me, you are walking with me. And as you walk, I will expand what you can carry. I will clarify what you could not yet see. I will time what you were tempted to force. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. This is my pledge, not your burden. So now, my beloved, practice what preserves you. Pause, listen, remain, name the one instruction. Do it today. Then watch what I do with the door that opens, the peace that settles, the courage that returns. As it is written, I will guide you with my eye. Psalm 32:8. Walk with me in the light you have, and the next step will meet you like dawn. My child, come nearer now. I want you to receive this in the stillness within your own heart. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. I am not standing at a distance with crossed arms waiting for evidence that you have changed. I am close, I am listening, and I have already leaned toward you. I do not come to burden you with a ledger. I come to lift what has made you heavy. You return to me not by spectacle, not by rehearsed speeches, not by proving your worth. You return by being honest. One sentence can open the door again. Say it simply, I need you, or I've been running, or I'm tired, or teach me the way. Do not underestimate the holiness of that one breath turned toward me. Do you see? Honesty is the hinge. When you speak truth in my presence, you stop arguing with the light and you let it warm you again. I do not require perfect phrasing. I receive your heart. As it is written, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. James 4:8. Nearness is not a maze, it is a turn. Hear me. Repentance is alignment, not humiliation. It is the reorientation of your face toward the light that reveals your path. It is not an endless replay of what you regret, but a decisive turning from what deadens your spirit to what restores your clarity and peace. When you repent, you are not groveling at the feet of rejection. You are stepping back into a relationship in which you are already loved. As it is written, in returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Returning is not a performance, it is rest. Trust is not a stunt, it is strength. Remember the son who came to himself in a far country, who practiced a speech of unworthiness as he made his way home. He believed he must negotiate his way into the fringes of the house he had left. Yet while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and ran and fell upon his neck and kissed him and clothed him and celebrated him as a son, not a stranger. I tell you this because my posture toward you is the same. I am not waiting at the door with a list. I am running to meet you with a robe and a ring. As it is written, while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion. Luke 15:20. Compassion moves first. Grace meets you before your sentence ends. This is why one honest sentence is enough to begin. I need you. That is not small. It is surrender. I've been running. That is not shame. It is truth stepping into light. I'm tired. That is not failure. It is the end of pretending you can lift what only love can carry. Teach me the way. That is not ignorance. It is wisdom returning to its teacher. As it is written, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us and to cleanse us. 1 John 1:9. Faithful and just, do you see? Forgiveness is not a mood I drift in and out of. It is an accomplished promise I delight to apply. You ask, but do I not need to make it up to you? Hear me kindly. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. You do not buy your way back. You turn, and I meet you there. Your restitution toward others may be part of repairing what was harmed, and I will guide you in that with integrity and tenderness. But with me, return is not a transaction. It is relationship. I am not a merchant you must pay. I am your father reclaiming you from lesser masters. As it is written, return to me and I will return to you. Malachi 3:7. I am not bargaining, I am beckoning. How do you return without hiding? You stop curating your image in prayer. You bring me the unadorned truth. You let your sigh become a sentence. You tell me where you struggle to say no. You admit where you have called numbness rest. You confess the anger that covers fear, the pride that guards the pain, the longing you have tried to starve. You do not wait until you feel worthy. You come because you are wanted. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. As it is written, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Nearness is my answer to your fracture. Practically do this now in the simple ways that honor your humanity. Sit where you are and put both feet on the floor. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe as if you believed I am here, because I am. Say one sentence aloud. Whisper it if you must. I need you. Here I am. I am tired of this hiding. Lead me back. If words do not come, open to a psalm and borrow language until your own rises. Say, create in me a clean heart, or lead me in the way everlasting. Write one line in a journal that begins with, today I turn from, and today I turn toward. Keep it brief so you cannot hide inside it. Then let silence answer you with peace. My peace will not flatter your avoidance. It will rest upon your honesty. What will you feel as you return? Perhaps tears, perhaps release, perhaps a quiet that does not argue. Do not analyze it away. Do not stand back up into self-defense. Remain long enough to listen more clearly. The first fruit of returning is not a fireworks display. It is a softened heart. The pressure to achieve collapses. The compulsion to explain yourself thins out. The accusation loses its megaphone. Shame tries to renegotiate, but you do not sign. You are mine. As it is written, whoever comes to me, I will never cast out. John 6:37. Never means never. You worry. But will I fail again? My child, I am not asking you to promise me a future. I am asking you to walk with me today. When you stumble, I will steady you. When you are tempted, I will provide a way of escape. When old paths call your name, my restraint will feel like a gentle hand upon your shoulder. Do not pre-live 1,000 failures to excuse yourself from one honest return. As it is written, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Today is the altar. Tomorrow is not promised. And when you have spoken that one true sentence, let your next act agree with it. If you said, I've been running, then pause and stop where you run. If you said, teach me the way, then open my word and read a small portion slowly. If you said, I'm tired, then consent to rest without the anesthesia that steals from you. If you said, I need you, then make room in your day as if I mattered to you, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, where your life bows to love. This is alignment. This is repentance that lives in your schedule and not only on your lips. My beloved, I have heard every word you whispered in the night. I am not far, I am at the door. As it is written, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens, I will come in. Revelation 3:20. One honest sentence is the hand upon the latch. Open, return, let me in. I will cleanse, counsel, and carry you. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. Come as a child, not a stranger. Come without hiding, not with bargaining. Come now and watch what I do. My child, you have opened the door with one honest sentence. Now watch what I do. You asked, and I listened. I heard every word you whispered into the dark, every ache you could not name, every hope you were almost afraid to hope. I am not far, and I am not still in the way you fear. I am moving, but I move first like roots under soil, quiet, determined, setting a foundation that can bear the weight of the answer you asked me to entrust to you. I do not come to dazzle you with noise, but to establish you with truth. Do you see? Fruit announces itself loudly, but life begins beneath the surface. As it is written, commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act. Psalm 37:5. The action begins in the hidden places. I want you to understand how I move, so that you do not mistake my quietness for absence or my restraint for indifference. I align, I remove, I strengthen, I restore, I heal, I reorder. I align people, conversations you did not schedule, a message sent at just the right hour, favor that opens a door you could not pry with effort. I bring across your path those who will speak life into what I am cultivating, and gently move aside those whose counsel would untie what I have bound in wisdom. I remove counterfeits, opportunities that look like the answer but are hollow inside, relationships that mimic belonging but drain your devotion, invitations that promise progress but detour your peace. This is not punishment but protection. I strengthen discernment, your inner ear grows sharper, your heart becomes allergic to what once numbed you, the pause I taught you to honor becomes a practiced reflex. I restore time, not by adding hours to your day, but by removing what steals them. Appointments fall away that do not serve your calling. The compulsion to say yes to everything yields to a holy no. And what you do in 2 faithful hours begins to bear more weight than what busyness boasted in 10. As it is written, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil. Ephesians 5:16. I heal desire. I do not merely command you away from lesser loves. I rekindle in you a longing for what is truly life, so that obedience is not only duty but joy, and you begin to love what I love. I reorder priorities. What was loud grows quiet, what was ignored comes to the center, and your schedule starts to look like your prayer. You ask, but where is the evidence? Where is the visible change? My beloved, the in-between is not a penalty, it is a preparation. Faith is formed not when the harvest is hauled into the barn, but when the seed is still buried and you water anyway, when you wake and choose the next right thing, though applause is absent, when you trust my eye upon you more than your eye upon outcomes. As it is written, for still the vision awaits its appointed time. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come. Habakkuk 2:3. I am building in you the capacity to carry what you asked me for, without losing the peace you found when you returned. I am widening the ground beneath your feet, so that when the answer grows tall, it does not topple you into the old anxieties. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. I am after your rootedness, not your performance. Consider Peter, and let this be a mirror for your moment. When he saw me walking on the water, he said, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you. I said, Come, and he stepped out of the boat into the impossible. The wind did not cease because he moved. The waves did not flatten into a walkway. He walked because my word carried him, and when he looked away, when fear demanded his eyes, he began to sink. Immediately he cried, Lord, save me, and immediately I reached out my hand and took hold of him. As it is written, Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him. Matthew 14:31. Do you see? The instruction does not always silence the wind. The answer is not the removal of all resistance, but the nearness of my hand as you obey. When you feel the tug of panic, do not narrate your failure. Call my name. I am nearer than the waves, and I have never left you. Therefore, do not despise the days when your story is more root than fruit. I am etching patience into your reflexes, endurance into your breath, hope into your gaze. The testimony I am writing in you will not be a flash of spectacle that burns quickly and leaves you empty. It will be a steady light that does not go out when the weather changes. As it is written, he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion. Philippians 1:6. Completion is not a single moment, it is a path. Watch for my fingerprints, and you will find them. Watch for the uncommon calm you carry into rooms that once owned you. Watch for the small reconciliations that happen without a script. Watch for the email that arrives the day you nearly gave up, the provision that meets you before the bill is due, the favor that closes a counterfeit door and opens a true one. Watch for the restless appetite that once dominated you to lose its leverage. Watch for sleep to become honest again. Watch for laughter to return without cost. Watch for a scripture to return to you 3 times in a week. Trust that repetition. Watch for the sentence you feared to speak, to leave your mouth cleanly and land gently with more grace than you anticipated. These are not coincidences. These are the quiet markers of my movement. And when I close a path, when I remove a name from your frequent calls, when I end a project you thought you needed, receive it as rescue. Delay, you have learned, is a soft thief. Counterfeit alignment is a subtle snare. I will not let you be caught. As it is written, the Lord disciplines those he loves. Proverbs 3:12. There are forms of mercy that feel like a loss before they reveal themselves as life. Do not measure my faithfulness by how much I match your plan. Measure it by how surely I keep your soul. I am not afraid to disappoint your timeline in order to protect your truth. This in-between space is also where I knit together what you cannot coordinate on your own. I speak to someone across town to think of you. I give courage to another to apologize. I bring a thought to a leader's mind to open a place for you. I go before you into rooms you have not yet entered. As it is written, I will go before you and level the exalted places. I will give you the treasures of darkness. Isaiah 45:2-3. Treasures of darkness, do you hear it? Gifts drawn from hidden places, provision laced into what once felt like confusion. I am working the angles you do not see, so that when you arrive, peace will greet you like a host who expected you all along. Stay close to me in this process. Do not exchange the steady cadence of daily obedience for a performance of sporadic intensity. Return to the small yes that began this movement. Read the next line of my word. Keep the boundary you set. Rest when I say rest. Speak truth again when it is your turn. Let the peace of Christ rule in your heart when other rulers try to return. As it is written, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Proverbs 3:6. Straight paths are walked step by step. Clarity is not a floodlight, but a lamp to your feet. And know this, I have never left you. Not when you delayed, not when you sank, not when you mistook my restraint for withholding. My eye is upon you, my hand is ready when you call. My counsel is near enough to whisper. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. When you feel the ache of not yet, let it become an altar of trust, not a cave of doubt. When you feel the press of old fears, lift your face, say my name, take the next step. Now watch what I do, not as a spectator leaning back, but as a son or daughter walking beside me. Watch in the way you remain, the way you listen, the way you obey simply and quickly. Watch, and you will begin to notice the story taking shape from the hidden places, a sequence too kind to be random, a pattern too wise to be your own, an unfolding that carries my gentleness and my authority. Do you see? The testimony arc has already begun, in the quiet turn of your heart, in the closed door you accepted, in the restored hour of your morning, in the sentence of truth that opened peace. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your ear toward my voice. Keep your feet moving in light. Today is enough for the step I am giving you. Tomorrow will meet you with more light. And as you walk, you will not only watch what I do, you will become a living witness of it. My child, dawn is upon you. You have heard me in the quiet. You have received my counsel. You have felt my restraint and recognized it as mercy. You have returned with one honest sentence, and you have begun to watch what I do in hidden places. Now walk forward with me as my beloved, not ruled by fear. You are not lost. You are awakened. You are not on probation. You are being guided. I am not sending you out alone to prove yourself. I am walking beside you and within you to establish you. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. As it is written, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. This word is your morning light, and this light is your path. Hear me, I call you by name. Before you formed your question, I held your days. Before delay tried to bind your ankles with soft threads, I saw the road and made a way through. You are chosen, known, and held. Your identity does not wobble with your feelings and does not evaporate when pressure rises. You are mine. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. One small step in obedience under my voice is more precious than 1,000 impressive strides away from me. Obedience for you is not restriction, but liberation. It is how you become unruled by fear, unshackled from the loudness of old emotions, ungoverned by the pressure to control outcomes. As it is written, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. 2 Corinthians 3:17. Freedom is not the right to do whatever you want. It is the strength to do what is true without being dragged by what once ruled you. Therefore, receive this commissioning in the dawn. Keep the boundaries I taught you to keep. Guard the hour of stillness you reclaimed. Let it be the altar on which you listen, not once, but daily. Do not negotiate with delay. Do not humor it. Do not entertain its soft whisper that says, later. When delay knocks, answer it with a simple yes to what I already told you. When distraction flashes, turn your face toward me and say, my name. Practice the small rhythm that roots you. Pause, listen, obey one instruction, then watch. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. A lamp guides one step at a time. Seek the lamp, not the floodlight. Let this be your simple rule under my counsel in Psalm 32:8. Each morning, ask, Lord, what is my next right step? Sit long enough to receive a sentence, a nudge, a boundary to keep, a call to make, a yes to honor, a no to protect. Write it, pray it, do it. Return at day's end and say, thank you for your hand upon me. When you do not hear a new instruction, continue the last one with faithfulness. There is holiness in repetition when it is fellowship with me, not performance for others. Do not confuse motion with progress. Remain in me. As it is written, abide in me, and you will bear much fruit. John 15, 4-5. Fruit is not forced, it follows abiding. My beloved, let me be firm again in love. Delay is not a safe harbor. It wraps itself in softness. It persuades you that tomorrow is generous. It lulls you with the warmth of a later that never arrives. Doors can close quietly while you are waiting for louder signs. I call you to today. As it is written, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Do not let a soft postponement steal a living obedience. Do not delegate to your future self the courage that belongs to you now. Courage is not the absence of trembling. Courage is your yes spoken while you hold my hand. Know also that my light will continue to expose and to heal. Do not fear exposure. Fear only the places you refuse me entrance. Light is truthful by nature. It reveals in order to heal. I will uncover what could have harmed you if left in darkness. I will bring into view the small habits that invite larger sorrows. I will show you where flattery hides a snare. I will warm what has gone numb until feeling returns. As it is written, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. No darkness is stronger than truth. No secret is safer than the safety you find in me when it is confessed and released. I do not shame you as I shine upon you. I free you so you may breathe again. As you walk, what was confusing will become clear, not all at once, but with the surety of dawn that grows brighter. The path of the righteous is like the first light that expands across the sky. You do not need to rush the sun. You need only stand facing east and walk the way it reveals. As it is written, the path of the just is like the shining light that shines more and more unto the perfect day. Proverbs 4:18. I lead you in straight paths, not by spectacle but by steady counsel. I resolve knots in ways that seem too kind to be coincidence. I align moments until your mouth says, this is the Lord's doing. Stay near me and you will recognize my handwriting. Carry this blessing as you go. Let peace be the umpire in your heart when other rulers try to return. Let gratitude be the song that keeps time when the noise rises. Let truth be your language when fear invents another narrative. Keep your promises small and your faithfulness deep. Do not make vows to impress me. Make room to meet me. Seek counsel from wise companions who honor my voice in you. Release talk that increases anxiety without increasing light. Forgive quickly, repent quickly, obey quickly, and rest when I say rest. I am not rushing you. I am rescuing you from the rulers that once rushed you. Now rise, my beloved, and walk forward. Walk into your work with the calm of one whose steps are ordered. Walk into conversations with the confidence of one who is not auditioning for acceptance. Walk into decisions with the humility to ask and the courage to heed. Watch what I do in the open as I have been doing in the hidden. Your testimony begins in the secret and grows in the public. Your life will be a living witness that light heals, that mercy restrains, that delay can be defied by one obedient step, that the Father's voice still reaches like the first light of dawn. If this word steadied you and you desire to continue walking with this light, remain connected, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss what I will speak next. Share this message with the one who needs a hand upon their shoulder and a word to bring them home. Let your sharing be an act of care, not of performance. Let it be a quiet invitation into the light that is saving you even now. I bless you to move forward not as a stranger to love, but as a son, as a daughter, as my beloved, guided, protected, and free. I am with you. I go before you. I am your rear guard. As it is written, fear not, for I am with you. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. Receive this. Rise and walk in the dawn. Amen.